to the Doc J Show, the worst named show on all the internet. Now, not a lot's been going on. I got a new cane. The one I'd been using, perfectly fine, but this one has a hook. So, when I am checking out, I can just strap it on my arm like a woman does a purse. I'm super manly. Also, I hit 2,500 subscribers, so I did a Q&A. Now, I like to keep written notes as opposed to just having it on a second screen or on my phone. And, you know, at the top I write Q&A. Well, I use the symbol for and, the ampersand. Ampersand. Ampersand? Ampersand? Ampersand. No clue. And, oddly enough, it was, I couldn't draw it at first. I couldn't remember how it went. I was doing this weird deformed, capital G in a cursive. Had to actually look at the keyboard to get it right, you know. But I know they quit teaching cursive in school in a lot of places. My kids didn't get it when they were in middle school. But most people type nowadays anyways. So, yeah. Still a little bit embarrassing. But that's about all that's going on in my personal life. Clearly, I have a very fulfilling and exciting life. Alright, I like to go over a channel that I'm subscribed to every time I do one of these episodes. And I would like to share with you Video Creep. Now, he's just under 1,000 subs. I really hope we can get him there, like, toot sweet. Now, what he does is movie reviews. But he doesn't do the everyday movie reviews that everyone else does. Like he did Sleepaway Camp 2. Now, in my opinion, it's the best of the series. Even though it's not the first, it has Bruce Springsteen's sister in it. So, yes. But yeah, the videos aren't overly long. They're usually under 30 minutes. And he has an interesting point of view, and he's a funny guy. I am curious where he's from. I get a New Mexico vibe, but I could be biased. Anyways, check out the channel, give the dude a sub, and watch his videos. I like them. Alright, so the first story I'd like to talk about is the Ezra Miller incident. For anyone that may not know, Ezra Miller was in a possible altercation with a fan outside of a pub in Reykjavik, Iceland. Now, Ezra Miller is the gentleman who plays the Flash in the crappy Justice League movie. And he is in the Harry Potter series. Not the good one that people watch. No, the crappy one that they are squeezing out onto the American public like diarrhea. That's a pretty image, by the way. So why do I say alleged altercation? Well, now, Screen Rant says they have explained it and they know what's really going on, but they don't. All they do is play some guesswork and, yeah. Almost, it seems like everyone's seen the video. But in case you haven't, here it is.
You learn it? Did you want to fight? Is that the deal? Whoa, bro. Fight?
Alright. So, the fan's there doing this number, and he puts a hand on her neck, and then on, like, her shoulder, and then, like, tilts her, and, like, puts her on the ground, or on a bench. Okay. Now, the story is that, you know, he snapped and attacked a fan and, like, chokeslammed her like The Undertaker and right on the cold, hard concrete. Doesn't look that way to me. I believe dude is drunk or high, or both, and it looks to me like it's horseplay. Maybe too rough. Yeah, given. But it doesn't look to me like a dude snapping and just beating the shit out of somebody. Probably just a drunk dude fucking around. Now, in the days where the Me Too movement is dying, you've got Justice for Johnny after he was canceled. You've got one of the founders of the Me Too movement getting called out for protecting Joe Biden. And the last thing I want to do is make assumptions, right? So let's put the pitchforks away, put out the torches, and wait to see what's actually going on. But yeah, my thoughts are drunk dude got a little too rough while fucking around. But I could be wrong. Either way, I think we should wait a moment. A lot of you may remember who this is. This is the great, once beloved and trusted newscaster, Brian Williams. Now, he ended up losing his job over one slight controversy. Kind of like when Hillary said she landed under sniper fire, but it was a complete and total lie. Well, his wasn't that bad. What happened was he said he was in a helicopter in Iraq that was hit with an RPG. But actually, the helicopter in front of him wasn't hit with an RPG, but the gunner, he had a friend who had been hit with an RPG. Well, a couple deployments prior to that. And it wasn't technically an RPG, it was a rogue ping pong ball. See, the guy was at MWR playing foosball, and it came up, it hit him in the eye, and he was squinting for like days. But the point being, Brian Williams barely survived that harrowing, dangerous event. But yeah, they shit canned him. They had to. What would you do if you cannot trust the mainstream news? It would really suck to not be able to trust the news. It would really suck to not be able to trust the news. I mean, imagine if a major news organization were to take a video of a gun range in Bowling Green, Kentucky, air it, and pretend it's Syria, so they can say, "Orange man bad. Look what happened when he pulled out of Syria." Oh, that would be terrible. That would destroy credibility, I would think. Or if you were to take a hospital in Italy and just change the brightness setting on the video, air it, and claim it's a hospital in New York. Look how scary and unprepared we are for this virus. That's completely dishonest. And it's fear-mongering. It's William Randolph Hearst. It's yellow journalism. It's the USS Maine in the Spanish War all over again. And you wonder why people can't trust the news. I mean, you want to take an Instagram model, put her up on the screen telling a lie about, I had to quit my job because Orange Man bad, we don't have enough PPE. It wasn't that hard to do a little fact checking and prove she was full of shit. I mean, 4chan gets they tell CNN that the OK sign means something else, and they run with it. Now I know a lot of people are like, well, people don't trust the news because of the Cheeto-in-Chief. He said, you're fake news. Really? That's when we stop trusting the news? Oh, okay. I remember when Jon Stewart was the #1 news source for young people. Probably would be still if he hadn't retired and been replaced with a talentless hack. I mean, really, man, you killed a good show. No. People get their news from an independent source, which is weird to say independent sources when you're talking about YouTube. But yeah, I mean, these aren't YouTube employees, they're independent contractors. Now, the dangerous part is it's real easy to fall into an echo chamber, right? You can find people on the left side or the right side of the aisle that will tell you things that you can agree with and make you feel as though you're right. It's real easy to do that. Now, I try my best to do my fact checking, but I would say the most trusted, for me, source of news on this website was Tim Poole. He's on the left, but he won't attack the right for no reason. And he's not afraid to attack the left when they're wrong. He seems to have scruples. So yeah, I've put a lot of faith into Tim Poole as a journalist. So, who the fuck is Tim Poole? Tim Poole got his start with Occupy Wall Street. And the way I discovered him was when Sweden, there were all the stories about no-go zones, right? All these migrants came to Sweden, and half people are saying, oh man, it's scary in Sweden, you can't go to certain places. And then other places are saying, oh no, it's perfectly safe, and it's all lies. Well, Tim Poole got on a plane and went to Sweden. And that's where I discovered him. This dorky, kind of chubby dude walking around Sweden and getting answers. I thought, wow, that's cool. So I subscribed to him. And then he kept doing daily news stories, and I've stuck with him. So he's got a little bit of family drama, or business drama. This is why you don't do business with family. So Timmy Poole's got a little brother named Chris. He goes by Reactor on the Tube of You. And Tim was doing really well with his new stuff, and Chris started a website called Subverse, which, if you're going to Google that, apparently there's a lot of softcore porn with Subverse, so be warned with that. Now, Chris got Tim to come in to help, and Tim brought some female, and the three of them built this up, and some investors threw in like $1 million, $1.5 million or something, and Tim and Chris got in a fight. Tim yelled at him, embarrassed him, and the two had a big falling out. So Chris quit, or Chris was forced out, depends on who you believe. And Chris is now suing Tim. Or raising money trying to sue Tim. It's all complicated and it's a big mess. And a bunch of people have fucking waded in on this one. So this is where I'm going to put in my nickel and 3 pennies. I don't know about Tim Poole as a human being. Seems to be alright. I don't think he's got a desk with a button on it to sexually harass interns. Also don't think he's the greatest human being that's ever lived, or even the best brother. I don't know. Also, I don't really care that much. What matters is, I think he's a trustworthy news source. I don't think he lies. About the news. I don't believe his journalistic integrity is hurt by him and his brother fighting over money. Brian Williams lied about being in a helicopter. He lied about an event. He made himself the story and he lied. Lying about an event, lying about the news, is a lot different than whether or not he screwed his brother out of some money. I mean, shit sucks. I hope they get it all worked out. But, still gonna trust him as far as, news sources go. Until we catch him lying. Alright, so the next thing I'd like to talk about is Idubbbz and his lady friend, Anissa Joma. I don't know. Saying your name wrong. I'm not that worried about it. So, she has an OnlyFans account, which is like Patreon, but dirtier. So she's selling, like, dirty pictures of herself. Cool. She's pretty attractive. So, people got really butthurt. I understand that apparently he called women whores and thoughts for doing the stuff that his lady friend's doing. And I think a lot of it is he made a response video where he basically just made everything worse, right? I don't know why people care. If I were going to make a response video, I just flat out would have said, why do you care? I don't give a shit. You know? But no, whatever. Now, maybe I'm biased. You know? I like hookers. No shame in that. It's good, honest work. You know? You pay for something, you get something. You know, it's not like other industries where you pay them way more money, and all they do is just dance and get you excited, and then make like, oh, well, maybe you can, just more money, until, you know, you're drunk, you're out of cash, and you can't even get a cab home. Just saying. At least with a prostitute, you know, you go in, you give the money, you get what you want, you don't waste any time, and then you're back home in time to watch Scrubs. But, to each his own, and Idubbbz or iCuck, dude, just have fun banging hookers, alright? Good for you, you like this hooker? Awesome. You guys get along? Cool. Maybe this is why I've been divorced so many times. Alright. The last story I would like to talk about is Boris Johnson, the 55-year-old Prime Minister of the UK. He is in the ICU, but that's mostly as a precaution. He went into the hospital after 10 days of a steady fever and repetitive cough. And he is getting oxygen right now, but he is not on a ventilator. He is completely expected to recover, and he has a pregnant fiance. I didn't bother writing the name down. Now, a lot of people have given him some hate. People are actually celebrating his illness. People like the movie Blob, and a lot of Ramoners. See, Boris is the head of the Tory party. And as you may know, the UK voted to leave the European Union. And after years of Theresa May just dragging it out and not letting it happen, Boris Johnson got in charge and he said, it's the will of the people. We are going to make Brexit happen one way or the other. The Labour Party demanded a general election because, no, the people don't want Brexit. And the largest defeat the left has had in the UK since World War II. Massive, massive victory for Boris and for the Tories. And he made Brexit happen, just as he promised. So, yeah, the Ramoners are pretty butthurt about it and celebrating. But in the event that Boris does not recover, the Labour Party is not going to be taking over. So, yeah, fucking cry me a river. Alright, thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed recording it. And, I know things might be a little scary out there, and people may not know if they have jobs, if they can pay their bills, if they're going to get sick, or if someone they care about is going to get sick. But it's pronounced GIF, not GIF. I know just because one is more popular doesn't make it correct. Facts aren't voted on. Just saying.